Hello and welcome to Finding Your Holy Grail, a show produced by Passionate World Talk Radio, whose goal is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. I am your host, Dr. Mandy Simon. As we head into the beginning of 2021, for the next several weeks, we will be producing the show in audio format, and I am joined by my co-creator, Dr. Gordon MacMillan. Welcome, Dr. MacMillan.
Thank you, Mandy. I'm very happy to join you and our listeners today.
I'm really pleased to be here today with all of you. As a recap, last week we discussed our need for safety. This show was the first of several in which we are addressing themes that our listeners find both timely and important. And it was so wonderful to record this show. For all of our listeners at home, we look forward to receiving your call to action 2 minutes or less video telling us about your own experiences regarding our need for safety. If you have not yet submitted your email or videos, please send them to us at lsc.limasamcat@passionateworldtalkradio.com or to findingyourholygrail@gmail.com. As we continue forward this week, I'm so pleased to announce the theme of our show is the need for boundaries.
Yes, we loved hearing from our listeners about this theme. The need for boundaries is so important, but more than that, creating and enforcing our boundaries with others actually permits us to deepen our relationships in our lives with other people.
It's true, and it seems counterintuitive to be enforcing our personal boundaries with others at a time when we are physically distanced and socially isolated. Brené Brown has a wonderful quote about boundaries, which reads, "Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others."
And this theme is so timely as we approach the holidays. As each of us is aware, there remains great uncertainty in the world, and our experience is fluid in terms of lockdowns and restrictions. In this climate, how do we effectively reach out and stay connected to those we love while supporting and maintaining comfort in our own world?
The discussion of boundaries in this time is to recognize that we all have the need to be heard and to be treated with respect. And in turn, this is how we should be treating others. To do this, we must put ourselves first, and therein lies the challenge. Above all, we must find our voices and stand our ground. Whatever this means to each one of you out there, this is a deeply and fundamental part of who we are as human beings. It is important to not get lost in the chaos of the post-pandemic world. Each one of us matters, and your voice matters most. Therefore, this week, we are issuing the Call to Action Challenge to identify where your boundaries are, and if required, to create them. Before we delve too deeply into this call for action, let's briefly discuss the types of boundaries that were found to be of most interest to our viewers and listeners at home. The first is essentially the ones that are tangible. For example, this is my front door, and before you can come through my front door, you must be invited in, which, depending on the relationship that I have with you, the person standing at my doorstep, you may be required to knock and or ring the doorbell, or you may simply need to announce that you have arrived and let yourself in. Are you following me so far?
Yes, got it. Let's keep going.
So the second is intangible. These are the unseen boundaries. This is the energetic boundary that actually empowers us in profound ways. Let me see if I can explain this simply. Basically, everything we create carries an emotion, and that emotion has an energy attached to it. The energy can be positive or negative. And the truth is, the choice is ours as to whether or not we interpret it as positive or negative. For example, if I'm having an argument with one of my friends and I'm thinking about that argument, I might have a black cloud of emotion that is attached to this thought. Believe it or not, the black cloud is a real force and it exists in nature, and it can be felt not just by me, but by the other person, and actually anyone that comes into contact with it. We have all had this experience when we walk into a room when two people are fighting, and we only come to realize this energy after we've entered the room, and we can actually feel that cold air settle down onto our shoulders. And then the realization dawns on us, and we just want to disappear out the door. This is an example of an energy that is attached to an unseen boundary. The unseen boundary here is that these two people are not speaking to one another, but they've literally drawn this energetic line around themselves. And I have crossed that line, and I want to go back out the door as quickly as possible.
Right, so we've unpacked this a little bit. First, we have the easily identifiable boundary, like knocking on a door to come in. That is a contract we have with someone that is agreed between parties regarding the rules of engagement. Second, we have the unseen boundary, which is an energy that can be negative or positive, depending on the situation. The bottom line is the conversation about boundaries has caused world wars and many a marriage. But we want to stay focused here and make sure everyone has a chance to evaluate the need for boundaries in a way that is personally meaningful to them.
Correct. Now, during this pandemic, with all the uncertainty in our worlds, and the first time that we are experiencing the holiday seasons in near complete isolation, depending on where we live, as well as in relation to the current government guidelines, we still have the need for boundaries. Therefore, just stay focused on recognizing we all have the need to be heard and to be treated with respect. And in turn, this is how we should be treating others. So our call to action this week is for our listeners to identify how, one, the need for boundaries is manifesting in their own lives. These boundaries can be seen or unseen. Two, the cost of not having boundaries in place in our personal and or our professional lives. This one is interesting because many people are using Zoom all day, and they feel they have no boundaries professionally as a result. And the third is the effect of the need or lack of boundaries in terms of our relationship to those that we love and or our friends. As was the case with the first scenario, this will include boundaries that are seen or unseen. So to help you complete this exercise and to evaluate this in a way that's meaningful to you, we have some examples of healthy boundaries.
Saying no without guilt.
Asking for what you want or what you need.
Taking care of yourself.
Saying yes because you want to and not out of obligation to please others.
Behaving according to your own values and beliefs.
Feeling safe to express difficult emotions and have disagreements.
Feeling supported to pursue your own goals.
Being treated as an equal.
Taking responsibility for your own happiness.
And not feeling responsible for someone else's happiness.
Being in tune with your own feelings.
Knowing who you are, what you believe, and what you like. And on that note, we wish you a happy and festive season filled with joy and love. and connection to your friends and family in as meaningful way as possible based on the current guidelines. Tomorrow, we will release a short video call to action requesting your participation as we did last week.
And for the time being, we want to thank Passionate World Talk Radio for providing a platform on their internet radio station for our show, Finding Your Holy Grail. For more information, go to www.passionateworldtalkradio.com. To subscribe to our community, go to www.findingyourholygrail.com and write to us at findingyourholygrail@gmail.com.
We're so grateful that you've joined us today, and we're very appreciative for being able to go through these themes week after week, as have been identified important to the listeners and is important to each of us. We really look forward to your participation and posting your videos, hearing about your experiences with the companion workbook, and seeing you online. Thank you so much and happy holidays. Until next week, keep safe, stay brave.